Well, the Eagles' second padded practice of training camp has just wrapped up. Slight injury scare. Update on that. A couple of the rookies, Nolan Smith, Sidney Brown, they started in 11-on-11s today. And finally, a new kick returner has emerged. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. What's up, guys? Thomas Mott here. Welcome to the Thomas Mott Show on a Thursday. They just wrapped up training camp. Padded practice again, very, very physical. Couple of little news and notes. We'll start with the injury scare that seems like it's going to be avoided and okay for Nakobe Dean. Now, a couple of people were noting on Twitter, Dean was seen not with the starting group, not with the second team group. He went to the injury tent, he was holding his helmet, he talked to Howie Roseman, and eventually walked out of practice. However, as Jeff McClain shows you right here, he's fine. An Eagles employee said, and so we're not going to overreact to this. Obviously, we're going to tell you when someone does have some sort of injury scare, but it doesn't seem like it's a long-term thing or any sort of issue. Now, we don't know what it is as of recording this early in the afternoon on a Thursday. Could be something nagging, could be something that just popped up. I'm sure we'll know more over the next couple of days, so be sure to subscribe. But if your Twitter feed was showing you that Nakobe Dean had some sort of injury issue, it doesn't seem to be anything serious. He did, however, not really participate in practice today. James Bradbury, at a time, did walk off of practice with some sort of injury. He went back onto the field, put his helmet on, and continued to play. And so other than that, Philadelphia seemingly has been very, very healthy, and this seems to be like a injury scare avoided, and good news for Philadelphia. Definitely thumbs up for that. Over here to a couple of interesting news and notes. That's Rashaad Penny catching kickoffs. He was out there at punt return and kick return alongside Boston Scott and Kenny Gainwell and A.J. Brown. They had A.J. Brown returning punts today, which was strange, something you'll never see in a game because they don't want to risk injury. But worth noting in terms of Rashaad Penny, he could be technically an interesting kick returner as he had 7 kickoffs for touchdowns at San Diego State. So he has some experience there, and with Philadelphia never really seeming to find a good kick returner, and they have Covey as a punt returner, but still never seemingly having a dangerous kick returner, Penny could be mixed in there as well. That finds him a way to get on the football field and also gives him an opportunity to contribute more so than just being a running back in a 4-team running back mixture. So very interesting to see that. We haven't had a lot of stuff on kick returning. Rashaad Penny definitely seems to be in the mix. Over here to starters in terms of day 2 of padded practice. A couple of starters that were new today. First of which is Sidney Brown. Talked about him yesterday. Had second team reps. Now officially first team reps. He started today at the other safety spot opposite of Reed Blankenship. Didn't stay there the entire time, but they did mix him in there, and that goes from being in the third team to being on the second team to now a week and a half into training camp with the first team for at least a couple of reps starting at safety. We'll see if that continues, but it does show you that it's Blankenship for sure, and they're mixing in a couple of other guys, whether it's Edmonds or Brown or Justin Evans or even Kayvon Walls, who we'll talk about there at the safety spot. Speaking of Kayvon Walls, Nick Sirianni did confirm that Kayvon Walls is in the mix for a starting safety spot. There is a spot open. That's not a surprise. We knew that, but now it comes straight from the head coach's horse's mouth saying he is in the mix, and that's why you've seen him at times line up there as a starting safety for Philadelphia. Now over here to another starter, and again, with Nakobe Dean being out for today's practice, Nolan Smith had a couple of snaps with the first team at off-ball linebacker. Obviously, again, worth noting, Nakobe Dean sideline went in the tent earlier in practice, but this is really, the number 2 linebacker spot. This is not a pass rushing linebacker spot. It's an off-ball linebacking spot, and this goes to further prove what Josh Davis from the Philly Special Show, my colleague on the Wednesday Link Live, had mentioned before. They're trying Nolan Smith out at multiple positions. He's not just going to be a pure pass rusher. It looks like Sean Desai is going to move him around, possibly try to utilize that speed as an off-ball linebacker. Doesn't guarantee he's going to actually be there for an extended period of time for a bunch of plays, but in certain packages, it seems like Nakobe Dean could be an off-ball linebacker, and that was proven yet again today whenever he got a couple reps, not with the second team, with the first team. Very interesting stuff there as well. Now, you go over here to one-on-ones. Nolan Smith back at his pass rusher spot. He had a couple of really nice rushes against the O-line, D-line to close out practice. He had a ghost move against Tyler Steen, and then a push-pull reverse pancake against Trevor Reed. Safe to say he's ready for more reps against the starters. That's really good stuff, and we talked about this before, but I cannot wait for the first preseason game. Myself and Josh Davis will be live when they play the Baltimore Ravens on August 12th. You're going to see a lot of Nolan Smith and a lot of Jalen Carter, hopefully, and that's when you're going to hopefully see the first sack in the preseason of one of these rookie phenom star pass rushers, but they're getting reps in practice, and they were, again, impressive today. Now, Kelee Ringo, cornerback we've not talked a lot about because he is pretty far down there on the depth chart. He did have the almost first interception of Jalen Hurts on a throw in the red zone during 11-on-11s. Good break on the ball towards the sideline. Hurts continues to be interception-less, which is 3 less than Dak Prescott has thrown so far in training camp. But Kelee Ringo did have a very, very close and potential shot at 1. He apparently had a good day today, his best day so far at training camp. You like to see it. Doesn't guarantee he's going to actually, start, because he's not. You got Bradbury and Slay and Zach McPherson and Avonte Maddox when he comes back from the toe. But good to see Ringo, who's more of a project at the backup cornerback spot, maybe convert to safety. I don't know, but he was making some plays today, and that's the kind of first we've heard about him on that. Over to Jalen Carter in the one-on-ones. This is a really fun tweet here. He took a rep against Lane Johnson, then slid to the other side against Jordan Mailata. Not much penetration versus either. That's quite an education. Hashtag Eagles. I love Martin Frank there saying it's quite an education. No, Jalen Carter is not going to roll in here and be Warren Sapp 2.0 day one. He's not going to dominate Hall of Famer Lane Johnson or All-Pro, future All-Pro, Pro Bowler Jordan Mailata. Just because he's really good doesn't mean he's that good yet, but good to see he's getting that higher education, which a lot of young pass rushers who are taken high in the draft don't get, right? If you're drafted to the Houston Texans, you're not necessarily going against the best right and left tackle every single day in the National Football League, or the best offensive line in the entire National Football League. I love to see the fact that Carter is getting a master's degree and learning how to figure out these really, really good offensive linemen. Because remember, when you play defensive tackle at Georgia, you're going against good offensive linemen, but not every single offensive lineman in the SEC is going to start in the National Football League, especially the Missouris of the world, and some of the other offensive linemen in the SEC. Sorry, Missouri, just picking on you a little bit there, but still. Good education there. Good update from Jalen Carter. He had a couple of nice moves today. Some other notes that I saw on today's training camp, but he didn't actually have any sort of crazy sacks. Someone who has been absolutely nuts so far during training camp, but has not gotten a lot of love, is Josh Sweat. Joseph Tolentino says Josh Sweat is balling out this summer, registering daily sacks, and now he bats down a pass near line of scrimmage. Sweat continues to move his body so well at the edges, and while Josh Sweat did have his first real breakout season this past year, getting into double-digit sacks, the expectation is he's going to take the next step. And imagine him with 12.5 sacks, and Reddick with 17.5 sacks, and then these rookies, and then the penetration up the middle. This defensive line might not get to 70 sacks, but they might get pretty darn close. I mean, it could be a very, very interesting year for opposing offensive linemen trying to figure out what to do in terms of stopping this Eagle defense. The secondary seems to be coming into its own. The linebacker spot seems to be very, very strong. The defensive line, though, is the big focus, and they have been incredible, and Josh Sweat has been headlining that so far for the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, plenty more stuff happening. My suggestion to you would you follow me on Twitter at RealThomasMott, because that's where you're going to see the first Nakobe Dean update, right? When we actually have an update on Nakobe Dean, it'll be tweeted first, and then it'll come to the show, right? You can only film one show a day, maybe 2 at the moment. So if you want the latest and greatest updates, follow me on Twitter at RealThomasMott, and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell here. That way, you're up to date every single day that they have practices. We're doing shows here and making sure that we give you exactly what has happened. That way, you don't have to scroll through Twitter all day like I do, right? You just watch a 10-minute show, you're good to go. So, hope you guys appreciate that. Plenty more stuff happening over the next couple of days and weeks. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been Thomas Mott Show.